Hey everyone, welcome to the podcast today. It is the Star Wars episode of the Fargo 3D Printing Show, as you can see from everything that's sitting on our table.
Yep.
And this is only a small bit of the Star Wars collection that both of us have.
Yeah, we're talking sub 10% of what both of us have. So we kind of like Star Wars a little bit. In case it wasn't clear, May 4th is coming up, or depending on when you're watching this, it might already be May 4th. The reason it's Star Wars Day, and if you like puns, you're really gonna like this. It is May 4th, so may the 4th be with you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, and Disney has a whole thing about it too.
Well, and for the Catholics out there, you might have involuntarily just said, and also with you, or and with your spirit.
Yes, that as well.
Yeah, no, it's a hard habit to break. You know, being a Catholic kid, like May the 4th, or not May the 4th, but
just that church is walking.
I've got
May the 4th be with you.
Yeah. No, it's Star Wars. Star Wars has had an impact on definitely not just our lives, but the lives of millions worldwide. And
the neat thing about May 4th is actually, as it is now a company holiday for us, we take the day off, we're going to play some video games, we're going to watch the movies, have pizza, eat popcorn, and just kind of nerd out about, Star Wars and 3D printing, of course.
Yep.
And so all of the employees are going to get together, we're going to just have fun. And we'll have, on our Facebook page, I know we're going to have some live pictures on May 4th about, different things that we're doing, playing video games, whatever. And so stay tuned for that on the Facebook page. But, so there's a couple different things how 3D printing kind of ties into Star Wars in general. So the one, there's a bunch of different Star Wars models out there. Thingiverse is littered with them. Those are kind of hit and miss. Printed a few. I know the Yoda bust is...
Force was not strong with this one. He tipped right over. Yeah, so like Jake was saying, the Yoda bust is maybe one of the most 3D printed objects on Thingiverse.
Yes.
It's a really high resolution STL file. I think it clocks in around 90 to 100 megabytes. So it's a really high resolution mesh. So when people are trying to show off the quality of their printer, they want to show off something really high resolution, and Yoda is a great thing to print off because it's also iconic. People recognize it. Now, there are tens, if not hundreds of thousands of little 3D printed Yoda heads out there. It's one of the things that gets pointed to the most when people say, oh, well, so what am I going to do? Just print out a bunch of Yoda heads. What are you going to do with that? So one of the criticisms of 3D printing is that it generates trinkets, but it's still a fantastic model.
You can't have enough Yoda busts.
Yep.
You just have a whole fleet of them.
Yep. Just a whole fleet.
Box.
Yeah, just a bevy of Yoda busts. So that's one of the most common 3D printed objects. Like Jake said, there's a ton of other great files out there.
I know there's actually one website that has some really high quality 3D models. It's called turbosquid.com. And then /3D models /Star Wars movie. And I was looking through there, and some of these aren't possible to print. I mean, first off, you have to buy them. You have to buy the model, and they range from like $5.
So a couple bucks to well over $100. Well, yeah. There's a $200 one on here.
Well, they're really great detail. I mean,
it's more of a 3D animation.
And it's really some really high quality models, and they're just awesome to just like page through. And not necessarily all of them are 3D printed as far capable of being 3D printed.
I'd say most of these are not able to be 3D printed, or at least not 3D printed on FDM machines.
If you look at, and I want to 3D print some on our CJP machine that we got in, just to see how it turns out. The SLA machine, once we get one of those in at some point, we'll be printing a bunch of stuff like that because there's just really cool models to have. I know you have a laser engraver, and we'll see if we can get a picture of it. But you have a what's that on the wall? I'm spacing out.
Probe droid.
There you go.
Probe droid.
So that's not really 3D printed at all, but it's kind of another cool thing that we have in the office as far as Star Wars stuff goes.
And if you look at ships, some of the 3D models that are 3D printable, there's a TIE interceptor on Thingiverse. The way that you can 3D print the TIE interceptor, what they do is they take the front half of the ship and the back half of the ship, and they split it in two. So then you print them with that flat half
down the middle.
Yeah, so the TIE
this way.
Interceptor, the TIE Interceptor turned out really well. There's also there's an X-wing model that does something very similar, where it split in the split right around the cockpit, and so you have the back half prints and then the front half prints. There, the model's a little bit more delicate because you have the blaster cannons. Just because it's a taller, or it's a thinner piece, it's a little more fragile to print, but it is printable. So other 3D models that are pretty cool. Well, I don't know if it's pretty
the
cool.
Jar Jar one.
Yeah, Jar Jar. That's the one I was coming up on. Yeah, and the great thing is it's a high resolution Jar Jar print. Now you're gonna need supports for the ears. We don't have a printed model yet because
we will by Monday.
Yeah, well, it's I don't know It's going to be interesting to see if there's any sort of reference to Jar Jar in the new Star Wars movie.
I doubt it.
I highly doubt it too. But man, what a little piece of fan service to just have
something in the back.
Something in the credits.
Yeah.
Could you imagine having something in the end credits?
Kind of like with like Wall-E and like the end credits of Wall-E where he's like tooling around.
Yeah. Well,
or maybe Jar Jar will die.
And one of the more popular 3D models with the new trailer. So the new trailer for Star Wars: The Force Awakens.
If you haven't seen it yet, you've been living under a rock, and why are you watching this podcast right
So,
now?
if you haven't already seen that, definitely go check it out. One of the new characters that's been created for this movie is a new type of droid called BB-8. So imagine you have R2-D2's head, so the dome part of his head, but now imagine that's riding along on a soccer ball. So it's an orb basically, and that's how it gets around.
I don't know how to feel.
I think it's great. I mean, you talk about something that you're gonna have toy versions of in every sort. I mean, you're gonna have the Lego version of this. You're gonna have little remote controlled robotic versions of this. You're gonna have plush versions of this. I mean, talk about a merchandising. I
can just see you walking in your apartment. There's a plush BB-8 sitting on your couch.
So not plush, but the remote controlled version. There is a remote controlled version of this. So a lot of people, when they saw the first teaser trailer back in January or December, I think is when it dropped.
Yeah.
They saw the droid and they thought, okay, well, great, another CG character that. It's going to be the prequels all over again, a ton of CG. Well, at the most recent Star Wars Celebration in April, they rolled out like an actual working BB-8 droid came out. So you can tell that for this movie, they're really focusing on practical effects. It's not just CG
it's all computer generated stuff.
So it's going to be there's already a toy version of it, not just the full size model, but an actual toy version, and it's. The fact that they've got that in a toy they're gonna sell out this Christmas because I'm gonna buy a lot.
I know. Well, I'm gonna walk into your apartment. There's gonna be a plush of the thing. There's gonna be a remote control one. There's gonna be a Lego. Yep. There's gonna be a 3D printed one.
Yep.
And
Christmas gifts for me are gonna be all Star Wars.
Well, good, because I don't have to get you anything, because now I can just give you the filament and say, here you go, print whatever you want.
Right.
And that's maybe the best Christmas gift you could ever give anybody.
Yeah. So for other Star Wars things that are related to the 3D printing industry. So I don't know if this was in our show notes, but at Star Wars Celebration, there's a new type of lightsaber. So this is the lightsaber that has sort of the cross guard to it. Some people think it's the coolest thing ever. Other people think it's the dumbest thing ever.
I'm in between.
I'm indifferent. I think it's
I want to see how it's used.
It's the bad guy lightsaber. But anyway,
some of the YouTube videos that they have out there are just hilarious.
Oh yeah, I mean it's great, just
over the top,
just lampooning it. But the version that they used for filming this, the prop that they used was 3D printed. So it was 3D printed and then painted afterwards. But they used that 3D printed part as the actual prop for the movie. So that in and of itself is pretty cool. That 3D printing is seeing that kind of use. I mean, we already know it's been used a lot in filmmaking, but
to see
because
it directly used.
Yeah, and they actually. In the at Star Wars Celebration, they had a bunch of the props on display, and then they would say how it was made or the materials it was made out of, and they said right on the little placard, made using 3D printing.
Because I know if you go back and you watch like some of the extra credits of the Star Wars movies, I think they make them by casting them and then plating them. I think is how they do it.
Maybe
some of them are casted because they're the foam style where you can use in your action scenes, and some are actually.
I think a lot of the parts for the other ones they're machined. I think they're machined out.
I don't know. Somebody knows. Put in the comments who's right, John or I.
Yeah. It's me.
No.
It's almost always me.
No, I let you win.
It's almost.
I
have a new strategy. Let the Wookiee win. Yeah.
Segue. Actually, no segue
no, this
at all.
is Star Wars.
Could you imagine a Wookiee on a Segway? Just randomly popped in my head. A Wookiee.
I want to just Peter Mayhew somewhere is thinking, oh, it's not a bad idea. Yeah.
Add another 2 feet to it. So when you're talking about 3D printing in the movie, something that's really really interesting is there's a company out there called Gentle Giants. If you're a collector, you're pretty familiar with them, or you should be familiar with them. I actually have a couple pieces of their work, and it's what they are is they actually go and they scan in characters, they scan in costumes, they scan in the actual movie relics, and they actually use there's an article, how do you pronounce it? Polymus?
I think so. Basically, this company that makes high-end 3D scanners did a write-up on how Gentle Giant is using 3D scanning to pull in full color scans of the actual movie props or the models that were used. So, for example, pulling in a scan of the AT-AT that was used for the stop-motion animation when they made the movie, and then they're using that to be able to create replicas, props, toys, that kind of stuff.
And they were tasked with actually doing the whole, digitizing the whole, what do they call it? Blanking out. The whole museum at Skywalker Ranch. They're actually tasked with digitizing every single piece. So the guns, the lightsabers, the AT-ATs, everything they digitized. So it was really interesting, and it's really cool to see that. And I really haven't. We've heard of 3D scanning, but I haven't really heard of this particular one.
No, I mean, when you talk high-end 3D scanners, 3D Systems has some stuff with Geomagic, and then Fargo is probably the most common one that I think of. I mean,
I don't even know. They've been around for a while, and they do a bunch of different things. I'm gonna just pull up
I'm sure they're very industry specific, and so
Fast Scan Cobra is the brand that's actually used. We'll put the link in the description, but it's just I've never heard of it. I guess maybe I've been living under a rock as far as the scanning goes.
Well, I haven't really heard of it either. So. Yeah, I mean, either way, it's always cool to find out about a different company that's doing 3D scanning. But it does reinforce that 3D scanning is not. It's not a cheap thing. You can't do it right. You can't do it well inexpensively.
Yeah, to do it right, you have to fork over the dollars to do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we're excited for the movie. I mean, what was your opinion on the trailer? What's your hope and goal for the new movie?
I think it looks great. I mean, I think that there's going to be a nice little amount of fan service. You already saw that in the new teaser trailer where you had Han and Chewie, and Han says, "Chewie, we're home." I mean, for a Star Wars fan, I mean, the whole goosebumps, tingling, all that, losing feeling in your hands and feet. I mean, it's the whole 9 yards. It's exciting.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think
the X-wings look amazing.
I think it's really going to be good. We're just going to see more and more stuff as we get closer. The 3D models that are already out there that are 3D printable, you're just going to see an explosion in people creating models that are 3D printable when the movie gets closer. Yeah, and I know Battlefront comes out sometime in November, I think like 17th. Yep, November 17th. We're taking a day off for that, to play that. Yeah. And then we're actually going to probably take a couple days off to go view the movie, and I think we're planning to go to the midnight premiere. So you can tell that Star Wars is a very big thing here at our for us and for our company. So we like to celebrate random holidays like that. It's not random. Well, it's very important. You just got done saying it's important. You can't call it random now. But I mean, it's random as far as like national holidays go. Oh, yeah. It's not a national holiday yet. But we're not going to yet. Exactly. After the movie comes out, they're going to look through our handbook and say, what can you have off? Oh, we have to work during Christmas, but we have Star Wars Day off? Yeah. Okay. Priorities, right? Religious holiday, Star Wars. Oh, Star Wars all day. Yeah. So was there anything else that we missed? Yeah, actually, I want to hit one thing. So there was, I don't remember the guy's name. Eric, help me. I know you've the R2D2. I have to look. I'm looking X Robots. Yes, X Robots. I forget the name of the guy who runs X Robots. But he made a full R6 droid. And, it spins, it moves, it's really kind of neat. And he uses Lulzbot Minis and Lulzbot Taz's. I'm not sure which one, as far as the Taz go, which version of it. But he did a full
R6 droid, and it's BA. It's badass.
That's what BA stands for.
Oh my gosh.
So anyway,
it's really neat. He's got a video about how he does it, and it sounds like he has all the plans open source. So if you wanted to build this robot, I think you can go find it on his website.
What's it take for electronics? We should do that.
Arduinos. Well, we got a Z18. We got more than there you go. I'm gonna get you enough filament.
I think we have the machines to be able to do it. Definitely.
There's your Christmas gift from me. Is all the filament
a
that you
job.
want
a task
to make this.
Yeah. Okay.
So, but it can serve you drinks. You can have R2 serve you drinks.
Okay.
So it's really neat. He has also done the
He's done a
Marvel.
Yeah. He's done
Iron
a ton.
Man Hulk.
The Iron Man
Hulkbuster.
Hulkbuster. That we should actually check in on that, because I know last time we looked at it, he was getting pretty far along. But I mean, this thing is intense. Like the frame is.
Oh yeah,
frame is massive.
I have a buddy, and I sent him that link to the YouTube video. He's like, I want a printer now. he's like, you just sold me on a 3D printer. The guy's not small, height wise. I mean, he looks like he's 6 foot tall.
Well, I mean, the thing is, he's building it to be as big as what the movie prop is. And so when he's in the suit, he's standing on something. When he has his arms in it, it's longer than his arms. It's taller than he is.
Well, yeah,
definitely.
it's the actual thing.
Yeah, it's not a small undertaking.
Can we make a real life AT-AT? We got the parking.
I was going to say we've got the parking lot big enough.
We got the train that can bring in parts for us.
Anything else?
No, I think that's it. Like I said, we'll be doing some live feed, I guess you could say, on our Facebook page on Monday as far as different things that we're going to be doing. I'm going to kick your butt in the pod racing game on N64. So
well, you're a console person. I'm PC, so you're gonna.
We'll need to figure out how to get PC and Xbox One to talk back and forth as far as
cross-platform gaming.
Yeah, because then we'll see who can actually.
Yeah, but you have aim assist.
I can toggle that off.
Yeah, but it's not really off.
It is on the console version?
It's not really
off. On the PC version?
Just PC Gaming Master Race. That's all I have to say about that. So,
sure.
On that note, thanks for watching our special Star Wars edition of the Fargo 3D Printing Show. If you haven't already, subscribe to us on YouTube. Like our Facebook page, Twitter, Google+. We're on pretty much every social media platform you can think of. And if you're listening to this on iTunes, if you haven't already, definitely subscribe. We're always looking to have more people take in what we have to say. And if you have something that you want us to talk about specifically, please let us know. We're always looking for more podcast topics. I think
next week we're going to do some Kickstarter stuff again. There's a couple people I want to know our opinion on some Kickstarter stuff, so be on the lookout for that.
Yep. I know we got some great response when we talked about the Kickstarter caution episode, so just about the different Kickstarters that are out there. Some are definitely run better than others. So check in next week.
Sprint Ray. We're going to talk about Sprint Ray because they are one of the best Kickstarters as far as what the whole thing package put together. Yeah. So we're going to talk about that one.
So again, definitely subscribe if you haven't to make sure you don't miss out on that. So on behalf of myself, John Schneider, and Jake Clark, thanks for watching.
May the Force be with you.
These aren't the droids you're looking for.
This isn't this.